anything to do with service, if you are not selling a product,
Yeah.
those like IT services, consulting services, tourism, hospitality, sports, gym and recreation, education to a certain degree, it's all habis cerita lah, but not habis cerita forever, but it's just on a big hold. So, I mean, 60% of my income was slashed because of COVID-19. And it is what it is. I mean, you can complain about it, whatever, but it's like I spoke to a friend today. I think for 1 month, he just looked at the walls and said, what the hell am I going to do? You know, he did not know what to do. I did not know what to do. I didn't have a plan B. And I'm the guy who made plan A, B, C, D, and E. And I had no plan Z. Because everything was stopped. Everything. It's just the whole world stopped. So, I mean, I don't mean to be, excuse me if I sound unfriendly. It's just, I'm just talking out of frustration. SME, MNC, small business operator, mom and pop shop, we've all struggled. I think the only one that may not have struggled as much is the one that was selling the masks. So, but you know what? You know what? You gotta find, I mean, as I haven't discovered all the answers yet. But as they say in entrepreneurship, when there's a crisis, you have to pounce. How can your business be a solution to the problem? Everybody's still gonna eat. I mean, thank God last year, and I say this in a good way, thank God last year, it was fasting month. So as Muslims, we fast, we don't eat during the day. So that was good, you know, I mean, save some money. But you know what? The children need to eat, they don't fast. So it's been tough, Vicky. It's been really tough. Everybody, the whole national job workforce in Malaysia has struggled, full stop.
And I want to let you know that it has not been easy in Singapore either.
I'm sure. It's competitive. It's very competitive over there.
And of course, I think certain news, the lid is being kept on certain news, you know, or that journalism has kind of stopped for a while. I don't see any news at all. You know, not at all, and of course, not as much as I would like to, and that's a total understatement. I don't hear news about men in the street, the struggles that people are going through, and that's why I think our talk is real. I think we can surface some of our concerns for our friends, etc. Of course, there are news that people do jump down the building, and I'm just telling you.
Mental health, yes.
People jump down the building. It could be mental health. It could be financial health. It could be a lot of things that I can't even put my finger on because it's too complex. You know, it's just caving in. I think it's the world just starts to like cave in, and it starts to just like implode and collapse on certain groups of people, and people who are not able to find some help, whatever, help from families, help from therapies, help from the government, financial help, etc. During this time, I would say using the word tough is a total understatement. I mean, there are people who just, you know, in the news, little, but they are coming. So we don't want to usually talk about, you know, such negative things, but you know, if Ben, you have something that you want to say, like how you hope that life can be a little bit better for the man.
As we say in Malay.
Yeah.
No, as we say in Malaysia, we Muslims say, and most Malaysians say this anyway, as a cultural phrase, inshallah, God willing, that things will improve. We keep believing that because there's no point being negative. Being negative can contribute to a bit of a mental breakdown. So as I always encourage friends, because I'm a mental health trainer. I did a mental health course this year in Singapore online. So what I encourage my friends to do, call each other. I've been through depression before. I had a depression many years ago, and that's another story for another day, but I'm open about it. And I say to friends, give each other a call. Let's support each other. We may not be able to give each other money, and nor should I never like to borrow money from anybody, and I won't. But let's call each other, let's support each other. If we can find a way to chatty business or do a business that will make some form of a sale, why not? So there's a bit of brainstorming there through the friendship connections in Malaysia, and whether it's generating money for families and friends, I hope so, but that's a bit unrecorded. But yeah, everybody's just trying to find a way. It was improving. I'll be honest, it was improving month by month. The Malaysian government, I kid you not, I'm not political. I don't support any political party. I work with the government of the day, but the Ministry of Health did a fantastic job, But unfortunately, certain things couldn't be controlled, and the numbers went up. I mean, we did a better job than Australia. We did a better job than most European countries. But the thing about Malaysians is we're not very good at shouting about milestones. So I want to be a milestone consultant for the Malaysian government and tell us how to shout louder and prouder.
And I think marketing is important, right? It's part of the branding. Yes. It's part of building your brand, and it's part of like telling your message across. What you're good at selling, what you're good at building, what kind of service you get. I mean, it's part of a branding process. It's nothing about being blowing your trumpet. And as Asians are really like, you know, it's this thing about, okay, we should be really, really humble. You should never talk about your successes.
On a side note, Vicky, let me interrupt you there. On a side note, I always tell when I run professional development courses, I always tell people that one thing that I learned from expats who work in Malaysia, they're very good at telling people what good work they've done. So we need to learn from them in terms of marketing. That's how they get the big jobs, because they tell people about their success stories. So I always say to people, don't be humble, because if you're gonna be humble, you're gonna mumble. And when you mumble, someone's gonna take your job. So don't let other people take your job. Defend what you've done.
Well said. Defend what you've done. I think I realize that should be the mantra of pandemic and post-pandemic era.
Exactly. So I now that I'm in my 40s, some of my friends say, "Wow, you're very proud of what you've done." I said, "Yeah, because if I don't shout about it, who will? Facebook?
You have to.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you don't expect your mom to be doing that. You don't expect your teacher should be doing that. It means it's got to be you. You have to survive.
So people always say to me,
squeeze out the competition.
So I'll give you an example. People say to me, "Look, you come as a very highly regarded TV presenter and master of ceremonies. Why are you the best?" I said, because my reference list is the best. It includes captains of industry, government leaders, politicians.
Great. So like now, if you have this opportunity to go to your government and to say like, okay, what's going to make the man in the street? You and we are the man in the street, right? I mean, we live on the streets, right? We try to get a job and survive in the streets. I mean, none of us belong to the royal family. None of us are the Prince Harry or the Meghan Markles who got married. So for people like us, the mortal beings, what would you say, like, okay, this is going to make our lives easier if this can be done? So and so, bullet point A, bullet point B, for the average Malaysians.
Well, to answer that question, Vicky, I wouldn't really say too much because it is sensitive. And who am I to say that you should do A, B, or C? But to give your question the due respect that it deserves, I would just say to these people, if I were in your shoes, which I'm doing right now, is that I would look at my skill set. You know, they always say reflection is a hallmark of a champion.
Yeah.
And I believe everybody's a champion. So you got to reflect on what you're good at and what you're not. I mean, the pandemic pushed me to do my online show, which I should have done 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I've started Sunday Learnings with Ben Ibrahim. So, you know, I interview world-class people in the area of sports, corporate leadership, and entertainment, with overseas and within Malaysia. I mean, I've only been running for about 8 episodes, but the traction that I've been getting is quite good and it's positive. So if the pandemic didn't come, I would have just procrastinated even more. So the good old saying from the Quran, man proposes, God disposes. So, you know, so, I mean, things do happen for a reason. I really believe that. I really do. I've had enough life experience to do that. So I suppose just reflect what you're strong at and reflect what you're not. I had a friend of mine who's an MC. He called me and said, Ben, what do I do? And I just told him, look, mate, MCing is a very relationship business. It's like consulting, really. I mean, the client is going to use you, not necessarily because, I mean, you're competent, but they like you. They like you. And that's 70% of the job. Likability. But this job is seasonal. It will only happen in the 4th quarter of the year, after Chinese New Year, and after Hari Raya. So you're looking at 9 months of income. What about the other 3 months? So I said, what else do you, I mean, I don't know this friend very well. I mean, he's been an industry friend for a while. I said, what else do you do? He said, oh, I can do this, I can do that. I said, well, you better explore it now, because it's usually the boring stuff that can pay the bills as well, not the glamorous stuff. The problem with us presenters, MC, we're so used to the big stuff that pays. And that's our rice bowl. That's fine, but it is seasonal. If you're single, it's fine. If you're single, it's fine. But if you have a family like I do and like a lot of other people do, you got to put food on the table. Sophia's not working yet, my wife. She will be next year, God willing. So, yeah, look at that skill set. Identify where you're strong at, where you're not so strong at. Look at the market. What does the market need? And do a bit of a skills analysis and go from there. That's what I've been telling myself and telling my friends. You know, I mean, because of that, I'm lecturing more. I'm doing online lecturing. Every Friday, I teach PR and HR at a small college here online, you know. So,
and what do you see because I don't know, I don't track the Malaysian numbers. What do you see is going to be the trajectory of the situation in terms of the pandemic going forward?
Well, if they can, I mean, it's a science factor. If they can just find where the clusters are, really knock down that cluster and slowly eradicate it. And on top of, while that's happening simultaneously, if they can get the serum or the cure for coronavirus, then I think we will see an improvement. I foresee that 2021 will still be a knock-on effect from 2020. The economy will not go back to normal. If everything goes according to plan, maybe it might go back to as normal as can be in 2022. But 2021 will be the year that people are still scared, people are still conservative, people are wearing masks, people are not going out so much, not going on overseas holidays. And that is what's going to be the effect. People are still scared. They're still scared. My father is still scared. My father is 70.
Yeah,
too.
of course. He has valid reason to be, for his age group. What's the numbers like? Is it increasing but slowly tapering off already?
Certain states are very high. Sabah was very high. Selangor was up and down. What are the other states? Sabah was the biggest concern. East Malaysia. So that's where the effect was. So they're just trying to curb that. And
but in numbers, KL and in this part of Malaysia, it's still largely all right, isn't it?
KL was up and down. Certain parts of KL was up. So that was the scary part. I live in KL.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was the scary part. But you know what, Vicky?
Yeah.
I have stopped looking at the numbers.
Yeah.
Because it's depressing.
Yeah. Do
If the
anything
government
that.
of the day
Yeah. Do
tells me to
anything
stay
that keeps your
inside,
mind strong and keep it cool, especially when you're a dad. You know, I would like to, as I promised you, we're gonna keep this short. So the conclusion is, it's hitting hard. I mean.
well, I've been lecturing for, I don't tell many people this, but no, I didn't market it very well, shall I say.
Yeah.
But I'm for a TV presenter, I just market certain skills.
Yeah.
But because I have a master's degree in human resource management studies, I have been lecturing in certain academic subjects for the last 12 years. So it's always been a side income for me.
Yeah.
And it could be my full-time income for the next 10 years, who knows?
Yeah.
But I believe that academic teaching and TV presenting is very much similar. So yeah, it wasn't a new skill set that I found. It was just, could I find a college that is looking for a part-time guy with not a lot of Zoom experience? Now I have a lot of Zoom experience to to teach students, which I really, really enjoy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is the skill I have developed.
Yeah.
And I'm also quite good at training and development because I've got a teaching persona, as you can see, and I'm quite patient, generally speaking.
Yeah.
So, and when I was studying in Australia, I competed and coached in many, many sports. So not to get too technical or specific, but so that kind of mantra makes me a teacher. I do realize something about myself now than when I was younger, because here, I think what we Asians try to do, we try to mold ourselves in a particular way on what society and our parents expect of us. But one thing that I've learned over the years is that you should never put someone in a position that they don't want to be in. So my parents would always say, oh, I meant well, that I wanted you to cari makan and be in a place that you could never be hungry and you'll always have a job. And that's why we selected HR for you. And even though you passionately wanted to study physical education and journalism and leadership and all that sort of stuff, that's kind of, because in Asia, I'm sorry to say this, it's such a negative concept to be seen as a teacher, because, you're not earning a lot of money, it's not economic status, it's not decision-making status and all that sort of stuff. But you know what? I don't care about that. I don't. I never have, and I probably never will. Okay? If someone wants me to lead a line or to lead a company and it matches my skill set and my passion and interest, then yes, I tick all the boxes. But if you want me to lead something that is not in those areas that I've just mentioned, then I would happily recommend other friends who are very competent bankers, chief financial officers who want to become CEOs and so forth and so forth. So I think, saying that, which leads to our conversation today, I think today's parents, whether their children are in high school, like secondary school or in primary school, I really hope that the Asian society of today has learned from our parents in a good way, not that our parents meant badly, and do not put our children in positions they don't want to be in. Because you'll be wasting your money in terms of educating your children, because if you send them to a finance degree and they're dreaming about graphic design, then you're kind of wasting your resources. And really, really change the culture that we don't have to be such traditionalists. We can be dreamers.
Traditionalists, yeah.
Yeah, we can be dreamers.
A bit more adventurous.
Yes, yes. If it doesn't work, who cares? And education is an education. You could study arts, you could study whatever. As long as you're educated, that's okay. That's the bottom line. So, sorry, I'm not trying to go off topic, but it's very much on topic of COVID, because COVID is all about reflection. So I hope that society, especially Asian society, and I'm not saying Asian society is bad. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Western society is brilliant. There's a lot of things that Western society have done this year, which is not brilliant. If you look at America and Australia, they can't even wear a mask properly. Now they can because of what happened. So the world learns. The world learns through mistakes. The world learns through milestones. I call it the M&M effect, not chocolate. Okay? So that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, to answer your question, is this what I teach now? No, I've always taught this, and I always firmly believe this. And I use my energy and charisma of communication to communicate just that.
Well.